Ethan Hale could never remember the moment Route 19 began to feel wrong, only that it happened sometime after midnight, when the road bent into a silence that felt padded, smothered. Rain tapped the windshield, the radio finally surrendered to static, and exhaustion chewed at his bones. He was 3 hours past tired, 12 hours past home, and one unanswered phone call away from unraveling. A faded metal sign flashed in his headlights. The Hollow Motel, vacancy. Something about it scraped at his memory, sharp as a splinter. He took the exit. The office. The parking lot held a single rust-eaten sedan with a crooked smiley face drawn in its grime. The office door jingled too cheerfully, and behind the counter sat a tall, thin man with pale, almost absent eyes. "Need a room," Ethan said. "You've come a long way," the man replied. "One room left. Room 7. The key tag's number had been rewritten again and again. "You'll pay when you leave," the man added. "You won't be staying long." Room 7. The hallway's buzzing lights flickered like dying fireflies. The room itself seemed ordinary, until Ethan noticed a faint circular stain on the carpet, scrubbed with bleach. The bathroom mirror warped his reflection, eyes too wide, smile slightly wrong. When he blinked, it snapped back to normal. That night a scraping sound started inside the wall behind the bed. Slow. Deliberate. Then 3 soft knocks from the other side. His phone buzzed with an unknown number. A whisper. "Ethan, don't stay in that room." "Who is this?" he demanded. Static swallowed the answer. He turned toward the mirror. His reflection smiled, "Too many teeth." Morning. Ethan woke with a pounding headache. The room felt colder, the air heavier. On the bed beside him, a perfect human-shaped indentation. Someone had slept next to him. He fled to the office. The attendant was gone. A guest book lay open. Ethan Hale, Room 7. Jenna Cross, Room 8. Andrew Hale, Room 7. His dead brother's name. Ink began forming on the page, invisible at first. Still here. A shadow moved behind the frosted glass. Ethan ran. The parking lot. The world outside was washed out, colorless. His keys were missing. A woman stood near the ice machine, tangled hair, bathrobe stained dark at the hem. "Jenna Cross." "Don't listen to the walls," she whispered. "They tell the truth wrong." She said the motel took memories and twisted them. "It makes you trust what you shouldn't. Like yourself." The office bell jingled behind Ethan even though he wasn't near the door. A silhouette stood inside, still and watching. Jenna backed away. "He knows you're awake." "Who?" "The man at the desk." "He's gone. You only think you checked." She vanished around the building. Room 8. Ethan found himself outside Room 8. The door creaked open on its own. Inside, the windows were papered with clippings about disappearances. A second guest book lay open. Jenna Cross, Room 8, checked out. 7 months ago. The bathroom door cracked open. A pale hand slid into view, fingers too long, skin too tight. A whisper. "You shouldn't trust the girl." Ethan fled. The mirror that remembered. Back in Room 7, the scraping swelled. His phone, somehow alive, played a voicemail of his own voice whispering. "It isn't the motel, Ethan." Then the attendant's voice. "It's you." 3 knocks. "Mr. Hale, it's time to settle your bill." The mirror warped again. His reflection lagged behind, then grinned. "You moved too much," it whispered. Blood dripped down the glass from nowhere. The basement. Jenna burst into Room 7. "Get away from the walls." She yanked open a hidden closet hatch. They descended into a basement lined with photographs, hundreds of Ethan. Different years. Different clothes. Standing in the motel. Sleeping in room 7. Talking to the attendant. A younger Ethan in one photo stood beside his brother. Ethan stepped back. I don't remember this. That's why you came back, Jenna said softly. You were driving. You were exhausted. Your brother died on Route 19. You checked in that night. You never checked out. Footsteps emerged from the dark. The attendant, but not him. Ethan, older, gaunt, pale-eyed. You left your guilt here, the older version said. Someone had to stay and remember. He wants you to take his place, Jenna whispered. Ethan climbed the ladder as the two versions of himself screamed in unison. Come back. Check out. The world outside looked normal. The guest book now read. Ethan Hale, checked out. His car keys waited on the hood. He drove off, the motel shrinking behind the trees. Relief washed over him. Until he noticed the motel key on the passenger seat. Room 7. Fresh. His phone buzzed. A whisper. You can leave the motel, but you can't leave yourself. Ethan looked into the rearview mirror. The Hollow Motel sign flickered, and a soft, familiar voice from the back seat answered. Not yet. Second story. The Midnight Inn. The rain hadn't stopped for hours, drumming a relentless rhythm on the roof of the car. Mark Benson's wipers moved furiously, but visibility was almost zero. He cursed under his breath, eyes straining to see anything on the lonely highway. Then, between the haze of headlights and mist, a flicker of neon appeared. Midnight Inn, vacancy. The letters buzzed weakly, flickering like a dying heartbeat. The building looked like it had been abandoned for decades, yet a single window glowed faintly yellow. He had no other choice. He took the exit. The parking lot was small, cracked asphalt under a flickering lamp. No other cars. No sound except the rain. Inside, the lobby smelled of damp carpet and something metallic. Behind the counter sat an elderly woman. Her hair was white as ash, pulled tightly into a bun. Her eyes were sharp, too sharp. Room for the night? Mark asked, voice tight. Room, yes, she said slowly. Room 12. Last one. The key was heavy, cold metal with a worn number stamped into it. You'll find it, upstairs, she whispered. Do not answer the phone if it rings. Mark paused but nodded, clutching the key. Room 12. The stairs groaned under his weight. The hallway smelled faintly of mildew. Room 12 was at the very end. The door opened smoothly, revealing a room dimly lit by a single lamp. A faint smell of iron filled the air. The bed was made neatly, as if waiting. On the nightstand sat a phone, black, rotary, ancient. Mark glanced at it uneasily. He sank onto the bed and tried to relax. The rain tapped insistently against the window. Then, a ring. Mark froze. The phone had been silent when he entered. He remembered the woman's words. Slowly, trembling, he picked it up. A voice, thin and breathless, whispered. Don't stay. Don't trust her. The line went dead. The hallway. Mark's heart raced. He grabbed his coat and stepped into the hallway. The light flickered. At the end of the corridor, the elevator doors slid open. No one inside, but a shadow moved within, tall and wrong, limbs bending at impossible angles. The phone rang again in his room. He didn't pick it up. A soft knock sounded at the door. Mark spun. No one was there. Then, from the shadows near the stairs, he saw her, the woman from the lobby. Only she wasn't moving normally. Her head tilted at an unnatural angle, her eyes black voids. You shouldn't have come, she said, voice like dry leaves. Mark ran. The basement. He stumbled down the stairs to the basement door at the end of the hall. Rusted metal. He forced it open. The air was thick and cold. Hundreds of mirrors lined the walls, reflecting him over and over, but something was wrong, his reflection didn't mimic his movements. It lingered, smiling even as he ran. The woman's voice echoed through the basement. "You can't leave until you see yourself." Mark turned to the mirrors. His own eyes stared back, but pale, hollow, and filled with fear. Behind him, the shadows moved closer. Every reflection shifted independently, whispering his name. "Check out." Mark awoke in his car, rain pouring down, the motel nowhere in sight. The key sat on the passenger seat, cold metal pressing against his hand. The phone buzzed. He glanced down. A message appeared. "Next time, don't ignore us." The rearview mirror reflected the road ahead, but for a brief, horrifying moment, he saw her face in the back seat, smiling, tilting her head unnaturally. Then she was gone. Mark drove, hands white on the wheel, heart hammering. Somewhere far behind him, the midnight inn waited for the next traveler. Third story. The Whispering Inn. Fog hung low over the empty highway, curling around Ethan Miller's car like fingers. He had been driving for hours, chasing a job interview he wasn't even sure he wanted. The night air smelled of wet asphalt and pine. Then, a neon sign appeared through the mist. The Whispering Inn, vacancy. Its letters flickered in pale green light, humming faintly. The building was old, bricks dark with age, windows fogged from inside. Ethan felt a strange pull, an uneasy familiarity, but couldn't place why. He turned off the road. The lobby. The lobby smelled of damp carpet and old smoke. Behind the counter, a man sat in shadow, features obscured by the dim light. Only his eyes were visible, bright, too bright. "Room?" Ethan asked. "Room 13, the man replied, voice low, smooth. "Last one." The key was heavy, cold, and numbered 13 in faded paint. "Do not answer the door if you hear a knock," the man added. Ethan frowned but nodded, pocketing the key. Room 13. The hallway was narrow, wallpaper peeling in long strips. Room 13 smelled faintly of mildew and something sweet, like candy gone bad. The bed was neatly made, but the blankets looked as though someone had recently lain in them. A phone sat on the nightstand, black and silent. A faint scratching came from the wall behind the bed. Ethan paused. He chalked it up to plumbing. Then, a soft knock. The door hadn't moved. A whisper came through the wall. "Ethan, you shouldn't be here." Ethan froze, eyes darting to the mirror across the room. His reflection stared back, but for a heartbeat, it smiled, even though he didn't. The hallway again. Drawn by instinct, Ethan stepped into the hallway. The light flickered overhead. Down the corridor, shadows moved where they shouldn't, stretching impossibly long. From the end of the hall, a door creaked open, room 14. Inside, a woman sat on the floor, head in her hands. "Don't trust him," she whispered. "He shows what you hide, what you fear." Before Ethan could respond, the office bell jingled faintly, though no one had entered. He turned, the hallway stretched farther than before, impossible, infinite. The basement. He found a door behind the stairwell, barely noticeable. It opened to a cold, dim basement, walls lined with hundreds of photographs, Ethan's face in different situations, different clothes, across different years. Each photo seemed alive, slightly shifting when he looked away. "You came back," a voice hissed. He spun. The receptionist stood at the far end of the basement. But it wasn't quite him, it was an older version of Ethan, gaunt, pale-eyed, staring with accusation. "You left this place," the older Ethan said. "And everything you should have remembered." Ethan stumbled back, heart hammering. I don't understand." "You forgot," the older version said. But the inn remembers. And now, you belong. Escape. Ethan scrambled up the ladder back to the main floor. The hallway shifted and pulsed as though alive. Doors opened and closed on their own. The woman from room 14 appeared briefly, holding out her hand. Go, or it will take you, she said. He ran, the lobby empty, the neon sign flickering violently. Keys lay scattered on the counter. He grabbed one, any key, and sprinted out into the mist. Outside, the fog was thick, but the highway stretched ahead. He jumped into his car, but when he looked in the rearview mirror, he saw the receptionist standing silently on the shoulder, staring at him with hollow eyes. Ethan drove without stopping. The neon sign eventually disappeared into the fog. But when he glanced down, a note lay on the passenger seat. You can leave, but you can never forget. And from the back seat, a soft whisper echoed. Not yet.